Hey guys, it's Dr. Neville Campbell here, and welcome back to the Wellness Hustle podcast. Today we have an amazing guest with us, Dr. Johnny Garcia, one of the leading chiropractors here in Atlanta. This guy's doing some amazing work, not just injury, but focusing on wellness. But his story, his journey is transformative, and today we're going to dive into all of that. So guys, give me your attention today as we welcome Dr. Johnny Garcia.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good to have you.
Me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
So I'd like to start off with you just giving an overall idea of who you are. What brought you to this point?
Sure. You know, I had mentioned that I had a couple pivotal moments in my life. And one of them was when I decided to become a chiropractor.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that from the beginning. I was going to be a doctor, but I didn't know what type of doctor that was going to be.
Interesting.
And I got into psychology. That's what my bachelor's is in. And mental health. And so I worked in a hospital for almost a year to get that experience. And just from that experience, it really did remind me of the things that I valued, which are health, vitality, wellness, and that entire vibe. So I decided not to go on and become a psychiatrist, and I decided to become a chiropractor instead.
Oh, that's an amazing story, guys. That's actually, because to think switching from one aspect or one discipline to another, I'm going to explore that a little bit more, because did your time in that mental health sort of exposure, whether it's a facility, an internship, et cetera, did any skills from that or any lessons that you've learned there, were those integral or vital to you developing your injury to wellness practice, which you're currently practicing in? How was that exposure important to where you ended up headed to?
Amazingly, it was probably one of the most influential experiences, not only of my chiropractic career, but in my entrepreneurial career too. I was on the floor. It was a lockdown facility, right? Limited access.
Gotcha.
And one of my jobs was just to be present on the floor and talk to patients. Now, these were mental health patients, and some of them are in, way different spaces. But being able to do that has really afforded me the ability to be a chameleon, right, and go into any space and talk to pretty much anybody. And what an asset that has been in building injury to wellness centers and my practice to be able to do that.
You know what? That's absolutely amazing. My kids often ask me, well, Dad, why am I doing this? Because it doesn't even seem like it's relevant or applicable. And I try to teach them that lesson, that even though they might not see it as relevant or applicable, that if they look close enough or if they apply themselves enough, I guarantee you that there are valuable lessons that they can extract that will ultimately help them to get to where they're trying to go. I believe that when we get placed on what we consider detours or these paths that are not necessarily what we have planned or intended, it is definitely designed for us to see things, for us to learn things. And the things that we learn along those detours or along those paths then become vital in the next step of us pursuing our dreams or pursuing what we have considered that this is where we want to go. So never underestimate the power of that detour, I tell people, or the power of that sidetrack, or the power of the place where you think is a stepping stone, because indeed, it might just be you're extracting the skill sets you need for the next level. Right?
It's all a stepping stone. And you just reminded me of my first stepping stone, which was when I worked at McDonald's. That was my first job.
Yeah.
And, these days, if I mention to a young person, hey, why don't you get a job at McDonald's? They actually give you a face. They're like, why would I work at McDonald's? Like, it's bad. And I said, no. My first job working at McDonald's taught me, well, one, to come to work on time, because there was very little tolerance for being late. And then also, I was a grill cook. So we had to clean the grills and the frying stuff. Yeah. It had to be meticulously cleaned before they released you. And that was my high school job. So, even today, some of those standards that were instilled in me from the very, very first stepping stone is a huge part of my business in injury to wellness centers.
That is absolutely amazing. And I wish more of us professionals who are at this stage of our professional growth and career would be able to, take the platform or seize the platforms to share these stories that, irrespective of the field that you're in, the discipline, whether it's law, medicine, the food industry, restaurant business, aviation, the same tenets apply. The same tenets for success: attention to details, showing up on time, being punctual, right?
Mhm.
Being able to be the chameleon, and the ability to talk to so many different like people and understand what they're saying, and then being able to process that and reciprocate in a way where they trust you, that they can exchange that information. That's a skill.
And it's not just what they say too. It's their feeling, it's their body language, it's their posture.
The
So
soft, those soft set skill
the
sets
soft skills,
that if you don't spend time studying them, you'll
You
never
don't-
know
you don't get it.
what they're telling you, and so you don't know how to respond.
Right.
Doc, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
So kids, if you guys are watching this podcast, don't be stressed out about what mom and dad or whoever are telling you to do. Just look for the lessons. If you're an adult too and you're on a sidetrack, or you're on a pathway that you think, okay, well, this is not where I want to be, understand that that might just be a stepping stone. And stepping stones, really, they're giving you tools that you will likely need for the next step of that journey that is to come. So, Doc, thanks a lot for sharing that. So, as the CEO and medical director of multiple wellness center here in Atlanta, how do you maintain a strong, mission-driven company culture while scaling your business and focusing on wellness?
Well, internally, we have focused a lot on our team. And in order to do that, you can't scale your business without having a team and for you to be supportive of the team. So one of our core values in my practice is well-being. We really kind of focus that well-being onto our team.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So in essence, the team and that teamwork is important, is absolutely important and necessary for you to scale at all, if at all possible.
You can't do it by yourself.
Right? Because without the team, you can't create, team is also tied into culture, right? You can't do it by yourself, absolutely. But if you don't create a proper culture, you won't have a team that's going to function within that culture. And without that team and that culture, you can't scale at all. I know that I had that problem when I started my business in Las Vegas many years ago. The first 3 or 4 years, it was tough because I did not have solid culture. And culture is what you need to actually have people who understand where you're going, understand the direction. Culture is the glue that keeps that together, unites the team around the common goal, the common front, and pushes them to get to and challenges them to go to the next level. So I tell you what, that's a very integral part of business.
What people in business that don't focus on the culture, what they do in the wrong way is that they think that the team that they have is the team that they're going to keep through the entire process. And when you say team, you have a team, and just like anything else, you're going to have, it's time to take this player off the team and get a new player into the team, because everybody has something to contribute, but maybe not for the entire time. The journey is long. And so sometimes you need that team player to get you from here to here, but not from here to there. And they don't need you either.
Right.
Because they're on their own path.
Exactly.
And I have encouraged my team actually individually, is if they express that they have a desire to go to school, I don't try to keep them from going to school.
You're supportive of
I
them.
support them to go to school.
Oh, well, Doc, we gotta spend some time and chop this up some more. I tell you,
that's what we do, and that's the culture that you want to have. You want to have. It's not Facebook friends forever.
Yeah,
we are working together right now. What are our goals?
Yeah,
let's get to point A to point B. And if it's time for you to get off the bus because you don't want to go on to point C, that's okay. Come back and get adjusted.
Wow.
Right.
So in essence, normalizing the idea that not everyone on your team is designed to be there forever.
They're not.
I think most business owners need to normalize.
I'm not even designed to be there forever. I'm just here until they tell me I can't be anymore.
So Doc, you've made it a deliberate choice to follow this non-medicine sort of path, and also a vitalistic path. What challenges have you faced in promoting this approach within both medicine and the business world itself?
So we are really focused on promoting vitality and health. And so that is great because it's so broad.
Transcends
It
everything.
trans
Yeah.
everything. And then we also do promote individual choice. So patients, when they come to us and they're with us, we promote vitality and health, but we don't keep them away from all the other options of things that they may need. And not
Gotcha.
all practitioners do that. Some
Yeah.
practitioners are very kind of like protective, and they just want to just only listen to what I have to offer. But on our side, we don't do that. We want to say, okay, with your particular condition,
Right.
we're planning to do this. You may benefit from X and Y, Z down here also. Let's try this. If we need to go there, you can go there, get consult. Some people are afraid. We always say, at least get information,
Right.
at least get a consultation, at least talk to the doctor. What are the options? What are your concerns? Some people are scared of needles,
Yeah.
for example. They're scared. So, well, you know what? Ask them if there's some other options of treatments that don't involve needles. There might be options. You don't know until you go and
Right. And explore those conversations.
Right. So we promote people to, get information, make choice, focus on vitality and health, and get well.
Thanks a lot, Doc, for sharing that. So, Doc, you've made it sort of your point of care, your point of duty to treat patients regardless of their insurance status. How have you been able to build a sustainable business model around accessibility and inclusivity, given that you have extended to see and treat patients irrespective of their insurance status?
Well, let me tell you, that's not an easy thing to do when you're a doctor, especially a new doctor coming out of school with a huge debt load and things like that. You can get very easy to get focused on money. And that's the first thing that's going to push patients away from you, is if you are so focused on money. If you, orient your barometer to be focused on their health, their individual health, and not worry about money, then you're going to see growth in your practice. Now, how do you do that? It's not easy, because I never turn anybody away if they can't pay. If they have we've done pro bono for years. We still do pro bono a lot. We have opportunities for free care all the time, but that's because I know that once we have that patient and we treat them with the care, and it's not about the money, that person is my best advertiser, my best promoter. They're going to go ahead and send everybody that they know to my clinic because I took the care that they needed and I gave it to them. And we still do it. We still do it today.
And that's such a powerful thing to really do, and people struggle with that because it's almost counterintuitive. How can I give away more to make more? It's how you're telling me to give away to make. This doesn't make sense, but I tell you what, it's something that I myself have practiced within my practice, and I've seen it work. Right, when you add value to your patients, right, when your focus is not on compensation, you'd be surprised how much value they then add back and pour into your practice.
It's the care.
My mom always tells me that if you want to catch butterflies, build a garden. Because chasing a butterfly is going to leave you just empty, because you'll never catch it and you'll just keep chasing. You said focus your energies on building a garden. Create an environment where you're adding value. And once you add value, the right people, patients will come, attorneys and clients. So, my business model here in Atlanta, as I decide to do this anew, is adding value. Adding value to every person that I come in contact with. Don't chase after this, chase after. No, create a space where you're constantly adding value, and it will come.
I love that. I love the butterfly analogy too. That's great.
As we try to wrap this up, Doc, there's so many questions I want to ask you, and the time is just oftentimes so limited. But trust me, we're going to have you back, because there are other things that I want to delve into, that I want to explore. But time is always of the essence. But we're going to get a chance to tackle those things. But I do want to ask you, for entrepreneurs and business professionals like myself and yourself and other people who are under chronic stress. Because believe it or not, running a business, managing staff members, managing, relationships, maintaining the key performance indices for your business and seeing that it is continuing to climb. Plus, you have clients, you have attorneys blowing up your phone, you have doctors blowing up your phone. You have all these sectors, and you smile at it all like it's. And people think, oh yeah, it's easy because you make it look so easy. But of course, it's chronic stress. Every day, you're responding to emails, you're responding to this, but we're managing it well. Certainly, we have figured out a way. What I'd like to find out is what are some of the overlooked ways that chiropractic care and holistic practices can support long-term wellness and productivity? Because certainly something is working for you.
Well,
What is it?
well, I get adjusted. That's for one thing.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer. Your spine is taken care of, then it'll take care of you, and it's a major pathway for our energy and our vitality. So I got adjusted today before I came here.
Goodness, yes.
So I could be on point. so I did do that. But there's another thing that I do for the stress. You mentioned the stress, the chronic stress.
Yeah.
All the basic things you think, exercise and things like that, right? Great for stress. But for me, there's one thing in particular that somebody told me a long time ago, and I still do it, and it's cold water.
Like a cold plunge or just drinking a cold water?
This is before cold plunges.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've been doing it for 20 something years, and it's basically just cold water, take a shower, or hand washing with cold water.
Gotcha.
And what they said, I don't know if it's true or not, is that it helps to, we're touching people and we're transferring these negative pain ions and things. We're touching people in pain. So to not transfer from person to person, wash your hands with cold water. That's what they told me. And they told me when I go home at the end of the day to make sure that you take a cold shower before you interact with your family.
Oh, and you've been practicing that for years.
I've been doing it. I took a cold shower before I came here.
Wow. Well, folks,
So I don't want to bring you no negativity.
you know what? Maybe I need to start taking cold showers because I don't want to bring negativity in anywhere, right? We'll start encouraging people. If that works, then
Hey,
you know what?
I've
Folks,
been doing it.
a lot of the wellness concepts that we hear, whether it's chiropractic adjustments, people say dry needling, people say acupuncture, meditation, mindfulness, all these conditions all these techniques that weren't vogue for years in mainstream medicine, we see now are climbing to the forefront as people take a greater interest into their longevity and into their wellness. I believe we're onto something, folks. As we know, medicines, and I'm a medical doctor practicing Western medicine, and I can tell you for a fact, we're just managing symptoms. We're not really addressing underlying causes. We're not really changing people's long-term trajectory. We're not even, impacting their overall longevity. And that's the reality. So do me a favor, tap into some of these wellness options, these wellness techniques. I have a lot of clients and a lot of friends who are like, I don't want to be a judge. Give it a shot.
Hey,
Give it a shot. You'd be surprised to see what impact it might have on your life. Doc, do me a favor. As we finalize this today, if you had to provide, a statement or two to that person out there who's on the fence currently around, about chiropractic treatment or adjustments, what would you say to them? After which I'm going to have you tell everyone where your practices are located at, how they can find you, and where some of your locations. I know you have most of your or all of your like where your locations
Sure.
are. Please.
Sure. If you're on the fence about chiropractic care, the one thing I want you to keep in mind is what you've been doing up until this point has gotten to where you are now. So if you've been dealing with a neck pain, a back pain, headaches your entire life, what do you have to lose but to go and try something different,
Oh,
right? And in this case, it's chiropractic. Get a chiropractic evaluation, see what the chiropractor recommends. Again, all this happens before you get any treatment whatsoever.
right. Yes.
Examination, x-rays if necessary, things like that. And get the information.
Yes.
Just like I recommend patients to investigate and look into medical procedures and different things, get the information. And if it's something that you haven't done yet and you've been suffering for years and years and years, and that is the story countless times when patients come into my clinics, is that they've been suffering with the same thing for years and years and years, then it's time to try something new.
Right. Well, folks, there you have it. from the man himself, Dr. Johnny Garcia. So tell us, where can we find you? Where's your phone number? What's your practice?
Well,
Locations, etc.
thank you. Easiest way to find us is just go to the web, injurytowellness.com. That's our website, injury with the number 2 wellness.com.
Okay.
We have 30 roughly locations in Georgia and Chattanooga, and we're open 7 days a week. So if you feel like you don't have time to come in, you have a weird schedule, we have hours as late as 9 p.m. and we are open on Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 3 p.m. So we're open all the time. That's really no excuse to not come in and see if chiropractic can help you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us today on this amazing episode. You've heard it from the man himself, Dr. Johnny Garcia. Check out his practices, injurytowellness.com. It might change your life. Thank you.